Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So in this video, I wanted to talk about, does money show your true character? And this is actually one of my favorite subjects, and it's kind of a taboo subject in the society that we live in because a lot of people get very uncomfortable when you talk about money. And I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, their economic status. And that's why I always say, hey, man, chase the bag. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got to chase the bag. That has to be the main priority. Because I look at it like this. Like we can take two scenarios. Someone that has money, you know what I mean, they're not gonna have a problem talking about money. Now you take somebody that's struggling and trying to live, paycheck to paycheck. They're not gonna want to talk about money because money is not enhancing their life at all. You know what I'm saying? Money is what they're trying to get. So, someone that has money, they don't mind talking about it. They're doing good. So it definitely has to do with, where you stand in life as far as wanting to talk about money and financial issues.
Exactly. And the first thing I think everyone has to do, especially, I mean, the younger the better, is you have to really look at the position that you're in as far as your economic status. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have. Because you can't talk, they don't want to talk about something, but you can't, if you want things to get better, you actually have to look at it as for what it is and not the way you want it to be. And I think a lot of people are kind of like in a fantasy world. It's kind of like they'll, they'll go to college, or they might go to Ivy League school, or they might get a job at one of the big Fortune 500 companies, and they'll start to look down upon people. It could be in their family or friends or whatever. But the reality is, you're either rich or you're poor. That's it.
Exactly.
So I think I heard Puff Daddy say something one day. He said, "Rich people will do what they want, and the rest of the people do what they have to do."
Yeah. Hey, it's a true fact, and this is why chasing the bag. We say it over and over again. But if you're chasing the bag and you're getting the money, this isn't even going to be an issue for you. Talking about money, you're going to be happy to talk about money and investing and things. But when you don't got it, it's a real hard subject to talk about. So
Yeah, and I see a lot of guys perpetrate around women when it comes to this. A lot.
mm,
So a lot of
yep.
guys will kind of like, it's kind of weird how it happens, but they'll kind of like sell a woman on a fantasy. It's kind of like a dream that, hey, I'm taking you this place, taking you out of town every week, every other weekend. I took you on a vacation, could be a cruise. I took you to
hmm
Vegas with me. So, in the woman's mind, there's a good chance she ain't never been to Vegas. She ain't
Oh,
never been on a cruise. She ain't
hmm
really never traveled like that, especially if she's in her early 20s.
oh
So,
yeah.
so it's kind of like the guy is kind of like really setting the relationship up for disaster.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of dudes, definitely. No, I totally agree with you there. And a lot of dudes, what we call that, they're out here flossing. You know what I mean? They're out here stunting. They don't have the money. They don't have it like that. So what happens is they get these girls based upon what they don't have, and then when the girl finds out what they don't have, she's ready to leave, and then the guy's all upset. But you got to remember, the only reason she was with you it's because she thought you had something. And that is why you shouldn't be flossing because she's not with you for the right reasons in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take trips, this is how I do it. If I'm
hmm
going to take a trip to, say, let's just say someplace like Vegas,
Yep.
Not only am I going there for a vacation, more than likely I'm going there for a conference or something. I'm not going. I don't visit any place just because I want to lay back in the cut on the beach drinking a pina colada or drink a Corona. No, if I
Yeah.
go any place, I don't care if I go to Japan, if I go to Thailand, if I go to any place in America, Miami. There's a method to my madness. I'm not just going there just because, hey, listen, the weather's nice. I can hang out with my friends. Now that's cool if I hang out with my friends, you know. But there's another reason why I'm going there, and more than likely it has something to do with economics.
Yep.
That's how I get
Business. Mm-hmm. That's how you gotta get down. And it's too bad most people don't think like that, because most guys when they go on vacation, they're worrying. The only thing they're worrying about is hooking up. The same thing they could be doing where they live. You know, that's their main focus. Where, like you said, when you go to different places, this is a business opportunity. These are, you can meet new connections, form new relationships. But most people don't think like that. Shark Game. They really just there to hook up and, get drunk, do the same thing they could do at home.
Yeah. I always wondered. I'm like, yo, why would you go all the way to another state, city, country just to smash?
Yeah.
You could have done that at home, man. What? I never understand the concept. I'm like, why are you going all the way to Thailand to trick off? You could have done that in your city. I
Exactly.
never understood that concept.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of thirsty guys out there nowadays. Shark Games. The mindset of the average man, in this society is hooking up. It's not about business. It's not about forming relationships. Like, nowadays, a lot of guys put women on a pedestal, and this is why they're not winning in the game of life. And by the time they realize that, oh, I should have been focusing on the bag, it's too late. Well, not too late, but I mean, they missed a lot of time.
Yeah, by the time they figure it out, man, they already got a couple kids and paying child support.
Yeah, yeah.
In most cases,
It's
I mean,
true.
it's not too late, but it's like, my goodness, boy, you're in a mess.
Yeah, you two, three
Because
kids too deep. you know, child support for 18 years, both kids. I mean, come on. By the time you're done paying, you in your late 20s, get out of here.
yeah, and it's like, man, I always say, money only exposes people for who they already are more.
Oh yeah.
So if you're a good person, I mean, you're going to become more of a good person. You're going to want to make more of a difference in your life, your friend's life, your family life, or whatever. Now, if you're a drunk, you're going to become a bigger drunk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
if you're
Or big too.
if you're evil, you're going to become more evil.
Mm-hmm.
So that
You know,
money just exposes people for who they already are, whatever, and it could go evil or it could be positive, negative, you know, whatever.
mm. Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with you, because I mean, if you already having money troubles before you have money, you know what I mean. How is that going to change? If your habits already bad when you barely have money, how is that going to change once you get a lump sum of money? It's only going to get worse. You're not going to be able to balance your money.
That's just like a lot of people that win the lottery. They said a lot of these people said they're worse than they was after the money was gone.
Mm.
In a worse position. I said, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They said one lady said she just didn't know what to do with the money. She didn't have the right mindset. And she said it was a bunch of vultures trying to basically take the money that she had, because she said the worst thing that could have happened is when she stood up on television with a check in her hand. She said that's the worst thing that could have happened, because she said the next probably 2, 3 days later, she started getting mails sent to her mailbox like crazy. She said the mailbox was packed with letters in the mail with all kind of offers, all kind of investors or people that wanting to make deals and everything. And she said most of these people are just scam artists.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. And I saw actually a documentary about a couple people that won the lotto and how they went broke. And I mean, one of the number one reasons is like family, friends. Everybody's coming out the woodwork now because they see that you got money. Family that you didn't even know you had is going to be coming out. You
Yeah.
know.
And the thing about that, when it comes to helping family and friends, it's very difficult to help somebody if there's no talent there. If there's nothing to enhance there's no talent there, you don't really have nothing to work with. So if that's the case, you're gonna have to create something. Because see, if you have to keep giving somebody money, that's gonna that's gonna end up being too much.
Oh yeah.
Because if you give them the money, I always say, hey, if you give somebody some money, first off, don't break the bank, and just don't expect to get it back.
Oh no.
That's all I'm saying.
No, you
That's
can't
all
you
I'm
can't
saying. Now, if you get it back, okay, that's cool. But if they don't give you back the money, don't be like, hey, you're upset, you're mad. No. I mean, if I always look at it like, if I give this person the money, I might not get it back, and if I feel like I'm going to be upset because I don't get the money back, I just won't give it at all because a lot of times this is how friendships break up. This is how people have tension within the family. So I always say, hey, if you think that you're going to expect to get the money back, don't give it at all.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
do it.
Definitely, and that goes back to like what we said in previous videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't expect anything from anybody until they prove you different. And these
Yeah.
people that lost all this money. First off, you're getting 20-30 million. Like number one, you should be investing. You should have revenue coming in. You should be investing in your own business. Get some business partners. Like at that point, you should always be having money come in. You gotta make the money work for you. There's no reason to be out here buying all those expensive houses and $1 million cars. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, man, a lot of people I know that got it, they really don't spend a lot of money all the time. It's like very seldom. If they take a trip or if it's a special occasion. But other than that, man, they pretty low key. The people that I know, they don't really. I think a lot of people get confused and look at these entertainers. An entertainer is just what it is. It's an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
That they're doing that to promote their music, their clothing line, their movies, whatever they have. You know, so that's not necessary. An entertainer is not necessarily a rich person all the time. Most of the time, they're not.
Mm-hmm. No,
So
you're right. That's the difference between being rich and then being wealthy. Rich, you can be rich. You get a large sum of money. It's here today and gone tomorrow. But when you're wealthy, that's that long money. That
yeah,
money's not going nowhere.
yeah. I heard Chris Rock. Chris Rock did a joke about that. Chris Rock said, "Rich man," he said, "Man, if you're rich, you can have a bad drug habit in a hard summer and lose everything." He said, "Wealthy, you can't get rid of that shit."
It's true though.
Yeah,
It's true though, man. You
Yeah.
know,
So, I think just I mean, if you don't have a trust fund, or if nothing was really passed down to you, like me, I didn't have a trust fund. Nothing was passed down to me. So, I knew my family history, like way, like probably when I was 18. I knew my family history on both sides, on my mom's
mm,
side and my father's side. So I already knew the position that I was in. And I already knew that when I graduated out of high school, I pretty much was gonna have to figure this shit out on my own. And I knew that I was gonna have to take a completely different route. And I didn't even know the route that I was gonna take at the time. But
right.
I made a commitment that I'm like, I don't want to necessarily take the route that my brothers and sisters took, because it just ain't me. Nothing against them, but it just ain't
Mm,
me. So
right.
I'm like, and I learned this after I got my first job working with Time Warner Cable. And I was like, yo, if this is how this job, this workforce is with all the politics and the shenanigans, I'm not gonna
Mm-mm.
last very long
I hear
doing
you.
this.
I hear you.
Yeah, So I didn't know what I didn't know I was gonna be into technology. I didn't know I was gonna be on the internet. See, I grew up in a time when the internet didn't exist. I grew up in a time where cell phone didn't exist. So I didn't know where I was gonna end up at, but I knew what the jobs I was doing, working with my uncle, working with my brother, this ain't me. It there
Yep.
has to be something else out there that I would like, and I have to. It could be could be a hobby. I could turn my hobby into a career or something that could pay me well for a long time. It could see because I never wanted to. I was always afraid that I never trust the jobs. I just never trust these corporations. I just never
Mm,
trust them. I always looked at it like I'm gonna work this job as long as I can, and ride until the wheels fall off. And when it's time to go, it's just time to go. So I'm gonna use this money from this job and as leverage into what I'm doing on the side. That's how I always looked at it.
yeah, that's smart. That's real smart. And I mean, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that, Shark Game. That's good because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you know that in the long term goal is that you want to work for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You want to work for yourself. And yeah, you might have to work a 9 to 5 now, but if you plan accordingly and put money to the side into whatever trade that you're doing, eventually you won't have to work that 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? You won't have to work those 40 hours a week, you know?
That exactly. See, man, I've talked to so many people over the years. I saw one dude. I said, "Look, if somebody told you if you do this for the next 5 to 10 years, you'll be free for the next 30 or 40 years of your life, would you do it?" Uh, some people will say, but it depends on what it is. I said, no, forget about what it is. If somebody told you if you do this for the next 5 to 10 years, you'll be free, why wouldn't you do it? Regardless of
Exactly.
what it was. Regardless of
Nope.
what it was. I see a lot of people don't want to put in the work. And they can't see that far. You
The
know.
bigger picture. Yep.
And then I get it, I understand because a lot of people different position, a lot of people are in different environments. Most people that they have around them are toxic and negative anyway, in most cases. but the people that they have around them think they're great. You're great because people told them they were great. So they
Yep.
think that they're the best thing smoking, but they're not. And these people that been telling them that they've been great for so long, these are some of the dangerous people you can ever spend time with because they think they're better than you and on some type of level, because they because and you can kind of tell too because when you talk to a lot of these people, they kind of downplay everything that you say or don't believe anything that you say. So it's kind of like you're gonna reach a point you're like, why am I even talking to this person?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's when I kind of had to at one point I had to clean house and I had to get rid of some people. Some people just had to go. And
Hmm.
I kind of had to strip down, man. I changed my diet. I made new friends. I started traveling more. I started just trying different shit. I mean, I had a sales job at one point. I got into MLM at one point.
Okay.
I the what else I started doing? I built websites. I just started trying different shit, man. And I think the sooner you do that, the better off you'll be. I started late. I started doing that shit when I was in my early 30s, you
Mm.
know. But I mean, if you don't have, somebody told me, a rich guy told me this. He said, if you don't have $100,000, you ain't got no money to be invested in anything, really. The only investment you can invest in is in yourself. If you have less than $100,000, he
Those are
said,
some
yeah, you
powerful
can
words.
put. He said, yeah, you can put money in. You can dabble here and dabble there or whatever. Maybe you can invest in somebody else. He said, yeah, you can do that, but you don't really you can't really depend on that shit. So he said in the beginning, if you just say if you're 21, 25, you just working a 9 to 5 job, the best investment you can make is in yourself because you if you can't bet on yourself, you can't bet on anybody else. That's
That's
the whole logic behind that.
That's true. And you can't exactly. And I was gonna say when you were talking about right before about the circle, the company that you keep. I was on Soul too. There's a saying that goes like, you take everybody that is close to you in your life, and you write their name on a piece of paper, and then you write on the side next to their next to whoever it is, their name and whatnot. How does that person better you? How are they helping you in life? And then you look at that list, and I guarantee you it's a lot shorter at the end than it was in the beginning because those people, all those other people, have no benefit in your life. So they're not going to be able to help you get to that next goal. They're not going to be able to, trying to, save up that kind of money to even get that far, $100,000. Most people won't even see that in their life shot game because they don't have the right people around them and they don't have the tools to be able to do that.
Exactly. Because number one, in this society, you're not supposed to have $100,000. You're not supposed to make 10,000 a month. If you go to your job and say, "Hey, after when I leave work every day, 5, 6 days a week, last month I made $5,000 outside of my job here," people will start laughing at you. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Get the fuck out of here! You're full of shit." She said, "So this is the world we live in. These are the people that we're around. So you're not supposed to make that amount of money." And some people is kind of like the idea of doing anything outside of work. That's kind of far fetched to them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they like if they don't have some big corporation co-signing them, or if some big corporation is not co-signing the person that they're looking at, they kind of like be like, he's a scam artist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So So it's that mindset that is really poisoning the minds of other people that's trying to do something. Because you might have some people that's on the verge of going somewhere, doing something big. All they need is the support. They don't have the support. That's one of the biggest problems. They need a little push, maybe a little direction, a little coaching, teaching, maybe a little advice. But you have people, those types of people, who will come around them and be like, shit don't work. My uncle tried it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nah, it's true. A lot of people don't want to see you do good, and a lot of people don't have the motivation. I feel like Two Sharp Game, as far as like motivation to do other things outside of work. I feel like a lot of people they're comfortable with the status like of their job, whatever kind of company they work for, whatever, like, big corporation, or like, some sort of whatever they work
Yeah.
for. Like, they're happy with that status of just saying they work there and they're getting paid, okay
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. And that's the craziest thing. I'm like, look, you got a family, you got kids, and you're not making enough money to take care of them. So what? Why are you? Why do you feel so good
Yeah.
about that? What's
Mm-hmm.
I never understood that. I mean, it's like the title makes people feel good.
Exactly.
The title makes them feel good, and just being associated with certain groups of people makes them feel good. I'm like, that's not going to help your family. That's not going to help your kids. When you die, you can't pass that job down to your kids.
Exactly. You can't pass down status.
You can't pass down status. What if only thing you can pass down is resources, money, assets, benefits. That's it. Anything outside of that is like coffee talk.
Exactly. No, it's definitely true, man. That's why you gotta have other strands of income. Even like you said, Shagin, even at first, if it's like, $10-$20 extra out of your check at first, it's gonna be slow at first. You're not gonna get like a lot of money at first, but just the
Yeah,
fact that anything extra than just that 9 to 5,
yeah.
would
That's another thing. But a lot of people, they don't want to start slow. They want everything fast. If
mm,
it's, I'm like, it doesn't really happen like that for most independent people. It doesn't usually happen like that, even for people that got the financial backing. See, it's like, a lot of people are kind of seduced because they'll look at these big companies like Google, who else? Facebook,
mm,
Snapchat. They'll look at these companies and be like, "Hey, man, they got a lot of followers. They'll have an article out that say, hey, this company is worth $50 million, right?" And I'm like, yeah, they might be worth $50 million, but they ain't made no money because they bankroll before they made the 50 million. They bankroll 100 million to get it started. So,
that's true. It's
so
it's it, that's definitely true.
yeah, so a lot of people don't like, and a lot of people they'll look at Shark Tank, and people say, hey, yeah, we raised $3 million, right? So then they'll ask them, well, no, this is how they usually goes on Shark Tank. They'll ask them, well, how much money you made? 3 million. So how much money did you raise? 10 million. They're like, oh. So it's no profit.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
see, that's why a lot of people get hypnotized. They don't really look at the numbers. They just see things as face value, and they be like, if those people can do it the way they did it, I can do it. No, if you don't got no funds, probably gonna have to grind it out, buddy.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
telling you. If you
Hmm.
don't have no funds, you're going to have to market and promote your ass off. with the little bit of money that you have. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, $100,000 to market like these startups do, you're gonna have to start off just like I start off on Google, Facebook, Yahoo, Bing, YouTube. You're gonna have to start off $20, $50, $100, $200, whatever you can afford. So you're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
grind it out, buddy. You're gonna have to do interviews on other people's podcasts, other people's channel. That's how it has to be done if you're independent. Otherwise, you just, I don't know, maybe you won't get started.
Yeah. And people don't understand too that, you know, starting up a business, you're not gonna see any profit. Usually they say for the first 5 years. I mean, off the bat.
Yeah, it look, it takes a while, man. A lot of times, man, I didn't. Let me tell you. I'm gonna use my books for example.
Okay.
The first, I didn't really see no profit until 12 months later.
Mm.
I didn't really show profit until 12 months later. You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I really do the math, because it took me, I had to. I got an editor, I got a designer, and and I got two editors really, and a designer, and I had to figure out how to promote my first book, so that took me months to learn how to do that shit, and then
Mm.
I had to create a website. So along the way, I'm spending money trying to figure this shit out, trying to put this shit together. And when I didn't really see no significant amount of money start coming in until about 12 months. This is the
Mm.
first book. Now, in the second book, well, shit, by the time the second book came about, I already had this shit rolling. So
Yeah.
I didn't really have to necessarily have to start all over again. I just took what I did on the first book and just duplicated that and just did more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how it usually works, man. I mean, of course, and then plus, I was going to conferences. I paid people to show me how the market and promote damn near anything at this point. So you know, I didn't. The idea is you spend a small percentage of money up front, and eventually you get the money back later. That's the whole concept. But it's a different way of earning, and a lot of people don't want to put the money up because they don't have confidence in themselves and they're not committed. Because a
Exactly.
lot of people feel like, you know, if I don't have all the answers, I'm not going to make the commitment. No, you
Mm.
don't do it like that. You make the commitment first, then you get started, and the right people usually show up if you make the commitment. But you can't half-ass the process. You
Mm-mm.
gotta enjoy the process. You gotta commit to the process. But this is why a lot of people don't succeed in very much because they don't commit. They just kind of like perpetrate and act like they're going to do something, or they act like, hey, yeah, I'm here, whatever. You here, but you ain't doing nothing. They're
It's
sitting in the corner.
but I'm here though. They don't have the discipline, Shark Game. A lot of people, they don't have the discipline and they don't want to put the money up front. And if they do put the money up front, they want to see the outcome of it. Like most people would not be down to be waiting 12 months to see any kind of income come in. They want to see it in the next couple weeks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. That's the thing. It's like the only way you can see any type of major return within a couple of weeks is if you've been doing it for a long time. If you
Mm,
have a lot of followers, you have a big audience, yeah, yeah, you can expect to see something, a huge return in a couple of weeks. But if you're just getting started, no, it doesn't work like that.
Mm, I
They
hear you.
don't. The only way that works is if you cut a deal with somebody. And even if you cut a deal with somebody and have some type of partnership, there ain't no guarantees how much money you're gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's true.
if you do a deal or do a partnership with somebody, you got to give that person a certain percentage of the profits.
Yep. Yeah. So you're not taking everything home. That's another thing too. You go into business with somebody, you're not gonna get as much as you would get as if you started it on your own. You're splitting that 50-50. And if the
Yeah,
money's not coming in big right away, and you gotta split half of that with somebody else, now you're really not gonna see any money for a long, could be a long time.
yeah. A lot of people are selfish. They don't want to share. They
Mm.
want they want what they want. They say what they want, but they have too many roadblocks. They don't want to share the profits. They don't want to make the commitment, but they claim they love money, but I don't see. Yeah, I just don't see it because because when they get paid, 80% of it's gone by Sunday. so
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
that's true.
so it's like it's not. I think it's a different that mentality people have at their job. You have to leave that there. That's not gonna work outside the job. It just doesn't work like that way. And that's the thing. That mindset at the job, you keep that mindset there. When you come to, you know, like doing stuff online or doing something offline away from the job, that mindset at the job is not gonna work over here. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna end
No.
up quitting.
Yeah, you got to think outside. You got to think outside the box. You know what I mean? You're right. You can't the same mindset you have working in 9 to 5, and you go to try to start your own thing. It's not gonna work because it's completely different, and you're gonna have to use different kind of skills, not the same that you're using every single day that you go into work.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I met a lot of people from offline. Majority have YouTube channels, and when you know, I could see where I met them numerous times, and in the beginning, they were kind of like they were new, they were just learning, just like I was learning. But when they started making money, and when I started to see them later in the later years, it was like a different person. so
Mm. Money
I always thought
changes,
that
you
was kind of
know.
weird, man. I'm like, they're like a different person, man. I'm like, I mean, I just seen you 2 years ago. and it's like, and I see you online, and I leave comment. I try not to leave comments on anybody's channel, by the way,
Oh
because
no.
no, I try not to, because what happens is they treat you like a fan. They don't, even if they know you, they're not going to acknowledge you like they met you before in person. So they'll try to treat you like a fan. So what I do, if I can't send them a direct message, I 9 times out of 10 I won't, leave them a comment at all.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. The money thing, when people start making a certain percentage of money, they get a little weird.
Yeah. A little
So,
funny.
like I said, it really exposes people for who they really are. So I understand this. I kind of laugh at it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. you know, that's how they are. That's how they
Hey,
are.
it goes to some people. It goes to some people's head, man. It shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? You should get money and still be able to not let it get to your head and make good investments and things and still be able to. You never. My thing is, Shark Game, I learned you never want to burn any bridges. No matter how much money you get, it's never good to burn bridges, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's some people that maybe they don't care, or maybe they and it depends on their perception on how they see you and
Mm.
in the process as well. You have some people that they just see you one way and one way only, and that's probably not going to ever change. And it's like uh, a lot of times people think they're somebody that they're not. That's a that's an
Mm.
that's another problem. So some people, they have like an identity crisis. They kind of walk around. They kind of wannabes. They think that it's kind of like in America, for example. They make up all these phrases like, I got a girlfriend, or they'll say, um, you know, um, I'm middle class, I'm upper
Mm-hmm.
class. They make all these come up with all these statements, all these phrases that basically make themselves feel good, and that only happens here in America, by the way. That doesn't happen anywhere else. In any other country, you can't say you can't call yourself anything. You have to like have permission to call yourself like uh, a celebrity. You can't call yourself a
Okay.
celebrity in no other country. You can't call yourself a writer, or you can't say, um, "Hey, that's my fiance." I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You're crazy. See, those phrases don't exist in these other countries. It's oh,
Mm.
that's my fiance. No, either you're married
Well,
or
you're
you're
not.
single.
Right?
That's it. I mean, but here in America, they'll say stuff in the media to make people feel good. Because we live in a feel good society.
Yes,
And,
sir.
and it's in the best interest of the Fortune 500 companies to keep it going. Because again, it goes back to the same old thing I always say. They use women, they exploit women
Mm.
24/7. And guys have to keep paying. And they'll
Mm-hmm.
justify why guys have to keep paying because hey, it's a woman.
Yeah, and this is like you said. This is why relationships aren't advertised, like long term marriages and things like that. They don't. That's not gonna sell. But the single hooking up like that kind of stuff that's gonna sell. That's gonna get views and stuff. But advertising to be married the rest of your life, like that's
Yeah,
they don't want that out there.
yeah. I remember like dating. The whole concept of dating. Let's get to that. I grew up in a time where women did not date multiple guys. You know, women it just didn't happen. I mean,
Hmm.
if it did happen, that woman was looked down upon. She was labeled as a hoe or unfit woman for marriage. Right?
Mm.
Women would think twice about dating multiple men. They dated one guy at a time, right? And if a guy dated more than one woman, he's a player. But check this out. Here's the kicker. That guy had the money to do that shit. That's the thing.
God.
The guy that didn't have the money, they couldn't afford to do that shit. You couldn't act like it don't matter how much game you had, no matter how good you talk. If you can't afford to be talking to all these women, guys just didn't do it. It's like, I can barely afford to be with one woman, if that. So how the hell am I gonna have 3 or 4 women?
Yeah.
And so I'm driving in my car, going to these women because back there's no cell phone, no internet back then. So I got to drive in my car to go everywhere, because people didn't have cars the way they do today. And no Uber back then. No Uber, no Lyft. It was trains, planes, and automobiles. That's it. It wasn't no damn cab drivers. Cab services it wasn't as big as it is today. It wasn't some of these towns didn't even have cab service. Think
Yeah.
about that. Think about that. Some of these towns didn't have cab service, bro. So if you didn't have the money, some guys didn't even. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm not even trying to do the multiple women thing."
Man, it's a different time now, Shark Game. Now you can be broke, living in your mom's basement, working at Dollar Tree, and have 5 or 6 girls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you got game, you can talk that talk. You ain't gotta have no car. You ain't gotta have no car. You ain't gotta have your own place. You can just be working at a retail store, and you be bagging all the chicks. Like that. Now, see, that was
Yeah.
unheard of back in the day. That was like your parents would be like, "What?"
What are
They
you
tell you to
talking
go sit.
about?
Your parents would tell you to go sit down. Your dad would tell you to go sit down somewhere. Or
Yep.
maybe he would laugh. Or maybe your mom would say, "Hey, you need to go sit down somewhere." you know.
True.
So we're just in a different time today, man. You know, it's really
True.
it's sometimes interesting and it's laughable.
Yeah. Times have definitely changed, man. And people's mindsets and their drive and their hustle. I feel like over time, people just got distracted with the everyday things that go on in their life and the technology and things that it really distracted a lot of people from their main goal of getting the bag. I feel like that's what it comes down to really. It's people are just distracted on getting that money.
I mean, like most people don't do shit until they have to, and by that time, it's too late. So now, the kids come, the girl get pregnant. I don't know, your car broke down, or maybe you get sick. Most people don't do shit until they have to, but I say, by the time when shit happens, it's kind of too late. Then you're already I mean, you kind of like you're not really in a position to do very much. Then I mean, it's good to stay ready, so you won't have to get ready. But
Hmm.
a lot of people, most people, they do what they care about the most. And so if and it's in this country where people are fascinated by entertainment and celebrities, and they're fascinated by a lot of these people. So they get distracted. They're looking for the get rich quick schemes or the fast money. They want to be famous. So this is why all the girls on Instagram. That's why some of these girls are willing to do whatever it takes. I mean, even if they have to prostitute themselves to get the
Yep.
money. And I mean, I like, you don't got to do all that shit, yo. You don't really got
Not
to
at
do all
all.
that shit. I mean, it's like, why put yourself through all that when you have to know that there's another way. But I guess I don't know, you decided to take the fast way, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
And that's why what it is too, Shark. And that's why you see a lot of girls that are strippers and stuff. They don't have to do that, but it's fast money. All they
Yeah,
got to do is get on stage, take their shirt off, twerk a little bit, sit on some laps, and there you go. Rent's paid. you
yeah,
know?
it's the money that they're addicted to. So they're willing to do almost anything to get it. Plus, a lot of them girls are getting high, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So, that's seems like sex and drugs seem like they go together in this country,
Oh,
especially.
them girls like that stuff. Shark Game. Those girls, they like stuff like that. Like you know what I mean. That whole scene. You're definitely right. It's all just sex and drugs. The drugs keep them up all night and being able to dance and do all that other stuff and you know. So
It's crazy.
crazy, man.
This is why I started the other channel, man. The whole concept of the other channel, the day job bailout plan, was to teach people, just give people like a framework on how to go about just start earning like a little bit of money in the beginning, and as and and once you get some experience underneath your belt, you learn as you go, and you advance, and the more skills you have underneath your belt, the more money you earn. So that was one of the biggest reasons why I started another channel. And I think I think a lot of people, based on the responses to the videos on the other channel, a lot of people, they just want a job more than anything. Seems like doesn't seem like a lot of people really want to do anything outside of the job. They just want a job. That's it. They're just happy with the job. Because most of those videos that I talk about, just jobs, they get a lot of views. When I talk about the videos, talking about opportunities, talking about like any type of creation, they don't get very little views.
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
Even man, I've given out last week. Last week, I was at the bar with this girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she speaks to every once in a while to kids and adults, and her audience is she said the most people she ever spoke in front of was like 100 people, and she was scared to death. So I said, "Oh, that's good. Everyone else is gonna be scared to speak. It's nerve wracking, even for me. I've done it a few times, and I didn't like it. So I said, hey, you get used to it. But it doesn't go away. It's that fear of just going on the stage just before it's time to go. That's always gonna be there. You just have to push through that, right? Yep. So she said she wants some help as far as how to promote herself. She wants more speaking gigs, and she wants to start a channel online, and she wants a blog, a website, and she basically eventually she wants to have her own digital products, and she wants to tell her story, how she grew up, where she came from, how she overcame her obstacles and trials and error in life or whatever. So I said, yeah, I know, I'll help you do all that. Yeah, I mean, I got you, But I don't believe her. I think she's.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe her. I think she's one of those types where she's just trying to use that to get close to me.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, you playing that card.
That's what I think. We'll see.
Shark game, that game. She's trying to get the shark game.
Yeah. Actually, I want to do I want to interview her, just like we're doing now, eventually. Yeah. And we'll see how that goes. But I just don't. I don't believe her. I just don't believe her. I could be wrong, but I don't believe her.
Time will tell if she's serious. I mean, Shagan, you a good judge of character, so you can tell when someone's serious. As you going through with it, you can see if someone's down with it or if they're sort of like, yeah.
Now I do believe that she wants to make more money. I do believe that, but I don't know in what capacity, and I don't know to what extent. That's what I don't. That's why I'm not sure. I'm sure. I'm sure that she wants to make more money, no doubt about it. But it's kind of like there's more to her that I don't know. Well, there's a lot to her I don't know, because I don't know her very well at all. I only seen her twice, so I'm really just getting to know her, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely, man. I mean, only time will tell, but I mean, like I said, it takes a lot to do that. I mean, telling your story, all that stuff is great, but as far as marketing and all that goes, that's not something that you're just gonna learn overnight. Like, this takes a while to get it right. You know what I'm saying? And like how you're gonna tell your story, and
Yeah, it took me, about 8 years to learn this shit, man.
that's
It took me a long time, man. It
what I
takes a
mean.
long time. And if I would have see in the beginning, I was trying to learn by myself. That was a mistake. And
Mm,
then by the time it was like I'm like 4 years in, and then that's when I started to seek out help. And what happened is, once I got help, I kind of had to, you know, kind of throw out a lot of that trash that I used to do. A lot of that shit was bullshit. So I was
man.
like, man, if I would have known this, if I would have known better in the beginning, I would just got help from this guy or this girl early.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you don't know until you
Yep.
know.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
gotta you
mean?
gotta go through life to get life, So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think a lot of people think that there's a lot of responsibility comes with like putting yourself out there, earning more money, especially big money. It's a lot of responsibility comes with that shit. And I think that's what scares a lot of people
Mm,
because I remember at one point I was kind of uncomfortable
mm,
at one point because I remember on my first book. Now the first book, I didn't know. I didn't think that shit was gonna sell at all. To be honest, I really did. I really did.
yeah.
So I wasn't really that confident back then. Now I knew what I wrote was decent. It wasn't my best work, but it was decent. It could have been better. Now the second book is when I really went in, right? And I was much more confident. I knew if I got in front of the right audience, or if I maybe did more interviews, which I haven't done a lot of interviews. I'm doing that now. But I knew if I got in front of the right audience, I knew it would take off. I knew
Mm,
that, and it did, and it took off, But I wasn't. I was kind of like nervous that, man, what about if this second book flops?
hey, you don't
because
know until you try.
I'm kind of thinking like, hey, the first book was okay. What if the first book, if it flops, what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do? So
Yep.
I talked to other people about this, other people that came out with books that did well or didn't do so well. So they say, hey man, look, all you can do is put it out there, man. If it flops, just learn from it and move on, man. But then I came out with courses as well. I came out with 3 courses,
Oh
and
wow.
my same thinking was like, what about if people don't like this shit? But yeah,
Yeah.
because it's in the audio digital format, and I threw the digital books in there as well as a bonus. So I'm like,
Okay.
what about if people don't like this shit? You know what? I mean, I kind of had all kind of thoughts going on, man. But then I
Yeah.
talked to people that that did the same thing. I learned from them, and they said, "Hey, man, look, you can always upgrade or change the courses that you create at some point. It's not going to be perfect in the beginning, but you can always change, upgrade it, make it better eventually." So
Hmm.
so they say you can do the same thing with a book as well. You can always upgrade it, update the book, whatever, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. And two things, two shot game. Like no matter what, like people, you know, people are going to be looking for that content. You know what I'm saying? The same reason, why they tune in and why they're watching us right now, and watching you when you're doing your other videos. Like these people want these contents. They want the books. They want to be able to go onto the channel and sit down and listen to stuff like this. And like you said, speaking in front of people like on stage and things like that, it's not easy. Easy. Even us doing this, not a lot of people I know can do that. Can actually just keep talking about, you know what I'm saying, intelligent stuff, giving the game, like, you know what I mean? No script, no nothing. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. That's true. I kind of took that for granted in the
mm,
beginning because I thought, like most people do in the beginning, just because I can do something, it shouldn't be that difficult for a lot of people. But no, that's not true. No,
mm.
there's some people that I know personally that's established. They would never do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Never, ever. And you know
Hmm.
why? Because a lot of these people are frauds. Number one, they're frauds.
Yeah.
And then number two, they're afraid that if they were on a platform like this or streaming live, even by themselves, they're afraid that somebody in the chat would ask them a question that they wouldn't be able to answer. That's
Ah,
that's why they would never chat on YouTube. Never. And I know some guys that do speaking gigs, guys and girls who speaking gigs. They teach people how to market and promote their businesses, services. They give dating advice, and a lot of these people are frauds. And I'm gonna do a video about that in my Patreon private section.
all right.
A lot of people are going to be shocked, and I don't put anybody on blast. I say, hey
No.
man, just do your thing. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do that shit. Everything is not for everybody to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just what it is. But I can come on here and do this because I live this. This is my life. I don't really have anything to hide. I'm like at this
I'm
point, I'm
with you,
like,
Shark Game. I like
I'm like, well,
it.
look, at this point, I live this shit. I don't really have anything to hide, or
No.
that's the crazy thing, because when a lot of people meet me, men and women, when they meet me, they be like, "Shit, that's this motherfucker that you really like the person in the fucking video." I said, yeah. What do you think you're gonna mean? So a lot
Real.
of people, they kind of get caught off guard. They kind
Mm.
of like, oh, they thought I was gonna have some type of made up character, you know,
Nah.
or some crazy persona that they probably put on. By the way, they put on a
Mm-hmm.
persona, so they just assume I was gonna be like that too. No, this is how I
No.
am for real.
I
Same,
stamp and approve that, Shark Game. I talk to you off that. This is Shark Game.
yeah,
This is him.
same shit I said in
Yeah.
the video. I'm gonna say it and right in front of your face, sitting beside you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shark Game, I don't think a lot of people knew too that you did a lot of public speaking as well. Like you were saying, I did a lot of public speaking as well in large groups too. Through school and other things, and you
Yeah.
build up to be able to talk like this. It's not like you just jump on here and can talk like this. Like you
Oh
got to
no.
do a lot of
No,
public
no,
speaking and
it
stuff.
didn't happen overnight. I was speaking, man, since I was a little kid in front
Yeah.
of people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this didn't happen overnight. No, I started when I was in. Actually, I started when I was in the church,
Oh, did
right?
you?
And yeah,
Okay.
started when I was in the church. I used to do speeches at church, and then it went from the church to college. I did
Yep.
presentations in college, and then I started doing presentations like when I got into MLM.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just, you know, continued from there. And then the internet came about, and that's when video came about. But the only difference is when it comes to the video, if you kind of have to have a script if you're recording, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
live,
Yeah.
So there's some benefits being live because if you're live, you can freestyle, you can take questions, etc.
Oh yeah.
But if you're recording from a camera, you kind of have to have, your topics like, I mean, it's kind of like on a paper, based on what you want to talk about or whatever. So there's some pros and cons. Some people can freestyle well, like Gary Vanderchuck. You know, he'll
Mm,
go on stage and freestyle every time. He ain't got no script. He just pulling it from the hip.
yep.
He's basically just saying how he feels, basically. You know,
Yeah.
and he's saying things based on his experience, which is a great thing, because if you know what you're talking about, you have the experience in a certain profession, certain industry, certain area. It ain't really too much that somebody can ask you that you can't answer and you
Yeah.
can't talk about.
That's true, Shark Game. It really it definitely benefits you, and it's it's good you had all those experiences. With me, it was sort of the same thing. Started like high school, and then same thing. I was speaking in college, and then I actually, as of like 2 weeks ago, I actually got a email from one of my high school teachers wanting me to go back to the high school and speak to all these kids and stuff too. So it's definitely good to be able to be able to speak, and especially what we're doing, speaking and helping people too, giving them advice and
Yeah,
whatnot. So
yeah.
uh,
Yep. So all right, man. I think this is a good time to end this video. So hey, if you like what you heard, give me a thumbs up, share this video, check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time.
oh,
Peace.
Shot Gang, you forgot about that Patreon, baby. They
Oh
got to be
yeah,
able to
yeah,
check
yeah.
out the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Patreon,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, PS. Yeah, yeah. By the check out my Patreon. That's patreon.com/sharp game. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Peace, y'all.